Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and AD Drew. So we got the core group with us today to open things up with welcome to episode 700 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small. From the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and AD Drew. We're filming from our home studios and getting ready to talk about the Labor Day Classic. See, I came in here and decided that I was going to be, professional. I don't have Prairie View attire I do during the season, oftentimes when Prairie View wins, or Texas Southern attire when Texas Southern wins. But I said, no, let's just keep it straight to the lace and make sure that, we don't share all that right there in terms of what that looks like, what took place. But see, this week was a troubling week for me. I want to shout out for those Texas Southern University folks, particularly in athletics, that really showed me a lot of love. I wasn't feeling it early. Some folks decided that, I wasn't necessarily that special. And I understand that. I probably ain't. I'm just special to what we'll show in this next video. If you would, Drew, cue up the next video. This is my 11-year-old son. He's in the 6th grade, and he's been privileged for his life. He actually was on Prairie View A&M's homecoming campus when he was just 3 months. His first trip out that somehow I allowed Faith, my wife, to allow me to bring him to. And these gentlemen and more folks took care of him because I still was trying to figure out fatherhood. And hopefully I'm doing a decent job at that now. But his entire life has been about the sweet life. So he has come out of the suite at TSU. AD has allowed us, in terms of the VP of Intercollegiate Athletics, allowed us to share his suite with him during the season for all games. And then obviously down at Prairie View, we get our own suite, including Mike. Charles has been in there and shared some love with us. And I'm sure if AD finds a way to get down there, he's so busy now, it's a little challenging for him. But if he can find a way to get an opening weekend there and it matches up, he certainly will get an invite because he has treated me as well as these brothers as family. And that's what it's all about. So just wanted to kind of share that and say it was a pretty good. So I guess the next question is, Charles, is it inappropriate to light up? Is it inappropriate to light up a cigar on show? So
it is appropriate to take a victory.
So we do have the umbrage to do that,
Yes,
and shout out to Miss Madam, Uncle Nearest, We hold you down. You know, we
Mike,
gonna
you
make
need to drink. You need to
looks
drink
like.
this just plain H2O right now.
See,
After a night like that, man.
I was trying to keep my cup quiet, but y'all got out there. So.
Now this is my water. Hey,
So shout out.
That dirty water.
To, Coach Jackson. Not Tremaine, but Coach Jackson. I guess that is his first name. So Coach Tremaine Jackson, with it, in terms of being able to get the victory, all the players that worked hard. Shout out to Texas Southern in terms of the players and coaches. They fought a great fight, and so in all seriousness, want to do that. But the victory goes to Spoils with the cigar. That means Howard Bison. Give them a shout out in terms of the victory. Southern bouncing back. Shout out to them in terms of their victory. But outside that, on the D2 and FCS D1, it's not just a whole bunch of shout outs going out today. What is the deal in terms of that? But shout out to Tennessee State, Brandon. Shout out to them getting it done in terms of that victory. Some love in here going out there in terms of some of these teams that got it done in terms of what that looks like this past weekend. Shout out to South Carolina State. I got to watch the end of that game. Big comeback win by South Carolina State, holding on defense. And we'll talk in the next segment a little bit of your key games that either went strong for a team, and obviously in our second segment we'll talk about who's on the ledge, but we'll share that a little bit later in terms of what that looks like. But
I got 3 teams already, Doc.
Shout out to State Cigar. In terms of that, AD said he queued up ready to talk about that. Shout out to Grambling. They did what they're supposed to do against Langston. Left no doubt in terms of what that looks like in the game. So let me do that in terms of the shout outs. With that being said, today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THD Agency. THD Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. Charles, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm recovering. I mean, it was a great day of football yesterday, but as my dad said, we kept swag hours last night. We got in late.
Yes, we had an hour and a half lightning game delay because of the rain that poured down earlier before the game, but then we had some residual lightning, which really kicked things off. And remember, AD Drew has always talked about this in terms of baseball and reminded us in terms of football, just for those that were trying to get to the game, didn't realize it. Yeah, you have a lightning, you have to wait 30 minutes for it to clear. And if lightning strikes again, it restarts. Resets to 30 minutes. And it's a certain distance from the stadium, so it can be looking great coming in or it can be pouring in. And AD shared is 18 miles. In terms of 8 miles, excuse me, and not 18, because we had one example last year with Rice and Houston play on the same day, and they're further than 8 miles. Seems relatively close. It was hindering the game at Rice. Nothing to worry about at U of H, but last night downtown was that coverage area, so that threw some stuff off. And then shout out to the Sam Andrews Black Fantasy Football League. We did our draft yesterday, so shout out to Deuce and why I wanted to give him someone love to lose. We left the house literally at 10 o'clock after doing the Game Time show with Brian, getting it done. Roy, Kelvin, Rozier. And hopefully they're not on the ledge, but that's not the right segment. Let me hold up. Let me get focused, people, focus. What happened in the game last night, quarterback was focused. In fact, let's play his interview to just talk about what that looks like.
Man, I told Coach go to empty. They didn't have a check for getting the back out the backfield. And I saw the middle field wide open, and we had an over route, and he beat the backer, so I just gave him a chance and we won the game. So.
Shout out to Charles. First and second video.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. And that was pure child.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
I couldn't say anything about that. I was just like, wow, this is wild. And I think I want to say it personally on here, just a lot of folks that helped make that happen, particularly Earl Jemison with the Houston Touchdown Club. he allows me to be a part of the trophy. We get a time, I might even send a picture of that. I know we got a video of that, but I had to send it. But maybe send a picture after all the jubilation to show you in terms of what that. But because I'm part of that, and this is my 4th year doing that, the last year I've been able to bring Deuce on the field, and usually stays kind of back. This time we were down there early. We saw the touchdown from the other side when TSU went up, to their credit.
Yeah.
Then we saw Deuce what he thought was the touchdown, and you can see on his face when I was like, "It's a penalty." He's like, "What happened? What do you mean?" Mike and I are conversing. You saw the policeman as he's stepping away in the background. Houston Police Department. Shout out to him.
What did he say?
He broke it down. What was going to happen? He called the play before. He said, "Yeah, they usually don't call that back, but they did the clip." And he said, "Watch the center. Watch the center of the field."
He said, "Watch that center."
And Charles is moving down there. He knows the perfect angle just in case, and he is living right in terms of praying up. And he was there. He caught it. So yeah, a lot of things going on there. But let's move on a little bit. Shout out to you, Charles. You had a victory at Jackson. Tough loss on the other side. Obviously, while you're not attached in terms of being an alumni of Prairie View, you got so many colleagues down there, you probably feel like it. So you had a duality. But just talk about your feelings on watching those games. Jackson State actually had to fight back and close out strong in that matchup they had with Hampton.
Yeah, tremendous game yesterday. And I said going into that game, I had to remind some of my Jackson State fan base, every game ain't gonna be JSU by 5. And Hampton is a good football team. I said it was going to be what I thought was going to be a great football game, and it proved to be just that. But Jackson State, they, to their credit, they showed championship mettle yesterday. When they were pushed, they pushed back with a big 12-play drive, I believe. And Ahmad Miller, I said going into the game, I wanted to see what this Jackson State running back room was going to look like without an Irv Mulligan. They got reinforcements, and I've been waiting. To see Ahmad Miller. He's been banged up a bit, but Aubrey Miller's little brother, who's former SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. But I've been watching him probably since his junior year in high school. He is a tremendous athlete, heck of a running back, and he got an opportunity to show it yesterday.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Drew, I don't know if you want to focus more on the game today with Tuskegee, or do you have to give me some updates on the other side? Because Mike can't wait to like share something with you. I don't know what that's about. But AD Drew, I'm going to allow you as a good friend to tell me what direction you want to go in.
Well, here's the thing. 2 of the 3 institutions that I'm associated with are 0-2 on the weekend. And, you know, there's a possibility that I could go for the trifecta today if Tuskegee's not able to pull it out. Because FAMU again. Morehouse again.
Yes.
So, you know, Doc,
Yes,
there's this old saying. You remember the old folks used to tell you don't wear white after Labor Day,
right?
But there are going to be a bunch of people who want to throw in the white towel after Labor Day. So, you know it's tough right now.
It's tough. Are they gonna be wearing black? Because there's gonna be some bringing and flowers.
It's gonna be some people calling for some funerals real soon.
You know, they won't go that far. They just pull in the moving trucks.
And I know we ain't got to that far, but throw the folks in Lorman on that list also, Dr. Cavil.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the ledge. In fact, we'll take our first break, come back on the other side, and get right into it and talk about key games yesterday. You know, what stood out to you in terms of these matchups across the board, mid-major and major division. So we'll let folks talk about their direction. And then we'll end it with Charles telling us and asking the question, who's on the ledge, and let everybody tell us their thoughts in terms of who's on the ledge. For all the lab listeners, thank you for getting up this morning. Remember, in our third segment, we unveil the top 7 matchup inaugural this season for 2025. Top 7 of the major division. I will say early, as a tease, a couple of teams fell out. We'll see who jumped in and maybe if any teams moved around. With that being said, we'll be right back after this first break.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Let me give a couple of updates here before we get to you all. Tell me your thoughts on things. Obviously, we had games on Thursday where you had Delaware defeating Delaware State 35-17. That was a 14-3 game at halftime. You had Norfolk State where Townsend went to Norfolk and defeated the second of the inaugural coaches this season in terms of Michael Vick, 27-7. You also had on Saturday with Howard went to the QQQ, that's Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic, and defeat FAMU 10-9. You had North Carolina Central falling at home to New Hampshire, 27-10. You had South Carolina State over Woolford at home, coming back and scoring a late touchdown to win 16-15. And you had Morgan State on the road falling to South Alabama, 38-21, I should say. And then in terms of the independence, the battle of the independents, if you would, that featured North Carolina A&T on the road at Tennessee State. And that was in the Big John Merritt Classic. Tennessee State won 24-21. A lot of close games when you talk about the South Carolina State scoring late. Tennessee State getting a blocked field goal to hold out the win there in terms of that matchup. Shout out to A&T as they fought hard in that matchup. But two coaches' debuts getting it done. So that coach in that debut, unlike Jackson in the Delaware State game, not getting it done. You had Northwestern State defeating Alcorn State 20-10. People, Brave Nation Reservation, are not happy about that at all. UAPB, Alabama State, where Alabama State Hornets fought bravely and was actually in the game with a chance to get a key stop to maybe pull it out because the Blazers could not stop Andrew Body as he seems back in the form 18 to 24 for 312 yards and 4 touchdowns, passing, including one rushing, a big one, 60 yards that highlighted for everybody in many ways that he officially is back. They lose 52 to 42. You have old ball coach Willie Simmons taking over Florida International. He played at HBCU after coaching in a couple of places where he won some championships. Going back to his offensive days. Speaking of those Braves, I know they miss him. He's come over to Prairie View and then he went home school in a lot of ways with his family there, his wife, to FAMU, bringing them a championship, not just in the SWAC, the first one, but also a cricket Celebration Bowl championship and a national black college championship before he's taken over. Well, he beats up on Bethune-Cookman. He just doesn't lose to Bethune-Cookman. No matter where he is, it seems like 42-9. Texas Tech, with all the money they got in their program, ranked number 23. They did beat up on Arkansas Pine Bluff 67-7, but shout out to Pine Bluff. They did not get shut off. They kept playing and they did get in the end zone. Jackson State beats up on Hampton, the other independent. Jackson State opens things up in terms of their big game there. Broadcast on HBCU Go. Got to watch a lot of that game, winning 28-14 after Hampton tied it up. Charles kind of talked about a drive there in that matchup. And then Arkansas beating up on Alabama A&M. A&M did score first, 52-7 in that matchup. Then you had Southern, Mississippi Valley. People had their eyes on this. This was a close game. Valley even had the lead at time. Credit to Southern. They got it together. They did win 34-29, having a key first down that would refusing to give the ball back to the Delta Devils. I told you a little bit about Grambling getting it done. Grambling defeats Langston 55-7. And Prairie View on literally a game-winning touchdown after Texas Southern scores a touchdown to take the lead. Prairie View fights back at midnight, it seemed like, 22-21. You talking about matinees, we had a midnight viewing of a game there as we didn't get out to 1 o'clock doing post games. Great job on both coaches in terms of their post game interviews, talking about the team being respectful. So I wanted to give them a shout out. There's a lot of stuff going on before the Pacific Classic and put the focus on the students in the games. And I want to give both of them kudos because they could have went in different directions in terms of what that looks like. So that's the breakdown. Didn't get into some of those tough Division II Week 0 games in terms of teams there. SIAC, what was the record now? I think it's 2-1.
It was 2-1, and we know where the one came from.
That being said,
a reminder.
Come on, let it out.
Doc, I thought this was the Division I recap today. We're not getting into all that Division II stuff.
We'll tease that out a little bit. We're not ready for that. So, Mike, what was the big game for you this weekend? What stood out? And you can give me two. Big game in terms of some team getting a big win, and then you can give me the one where you said was a really bad loss.
As far as big games, I got to go with Prairie View TSU. I was there, but I also saw the Howard game. Sorry, AD, but I saw that Howard game.
Is this beat up on AD Day?
AD, I love you doing. But anytime you look in the stats and you hold a team to 1.8 yards per rush, generally the other team's gonna win, even if they only had 3 yards per rush. It was clearly a defensive battle. I expected FAMU, with all of the speed that they have on the ends, to really pull ahead of this one. It just never happened. So that defensive struggle, that physicality that Howard bought, that to me was a very good game. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't sexy, but it was a good game. The Prairie View game on the opposite side to me was not because I'm a Prairie View fan, but if you tell me a team has 15 penalties for 160 yards and it's tough to overcome. They still were able to overcome despite that. It was a hard-fought game by both sides. Both sides put up a lot of offense. Cam Peters was, to me, way more poised than I saw him last year. This was a different, at least I got one data point. But this Cam Peters was totally different than 2024 Cam Peters. And he didn't look frazzled despite the calls, despite any setbacks in the offense, the movement, despite anything. So I thought that made it an exciting. And TSU, to their credit, oh my God, that quarterback, they had command of the offense as well. So I thought that was a hard fought game.
KJ Cooper.
I thought some of the calls, to be honest, were a little bit questionable on both ways. I think the handkerchiefs seemed to come out quite a bit. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was the punch I was drinking, but it just seemed like the handkerchiefs just kept coming. I like, give me that dirty laundry off the field. Come on.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people were catching colds. There was so much tissue.
Exactly. So KJ Cooper, hats off to him. He had command of the offense for TSU as well, but hard fought game. But those two are my really good games. So, and the surprise to me, you asked, that Mississippi Valley game. All right, I'm always on Valley, but that was close. That Valley, that's
giving Valley some love. Charlie,
that's a different kind of Valley. You looking at the stats, they putting up some offense. So that, to me, even though it was a loss, that was a pretty good loss. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go to you, Drew. I know you biting your lip there, Charles. I'm gonna give you the last one because I want you, after you finish your statement, I'm gonna ask you about the ledge and then circle back. So I'm gonna tease you out a little bit. Eddie, Drew, you big wins, big losses, Bulls up, Bears down. What direction you going?
Actually, I want to start back on that Southern Valley game. Just want to send a shout out, press Jalen Wood, who took a shot. We're not gonna talk about the
good point.
non-call on the play. I personally kind of disagreed with the non-call on the play, even and because there was no call, you could not go to review it. Want to make sure everybody understands that. And in my game personally, we had a similar situation where our quarterback, one of our quarterbacks, took a shot, and there was a flag on the play, but they overturned it after they saying ejection with personal foul with targeting. They just left it at a personal foul. So, like I said, I've got my opinions on the enforcement of the targeting rule and the consistency,
particularly with it changing this year. To your credit, add the changing part, because you talked about how it has changed, where now they can review and just keep it as the penalty versus in the past
it was one or the other. Now you've got a little bit of a gray area where you can still enforce the penalty without kicking the player out of the game. So, but I actually want every game I'm focusing on. Dr. Cavil had a loss, but all losses are not equal. Dr. Cavil.
That's true.
The one thing that I'm looking for, even with these teams that lost Thursday and yesterday, was did I see improvement despite the fact that you took an L? Valley, I saw improvement despite the fact that you took an L.
Absolutely.
Alabama State, y'all gonna be a problem if that's the edge body that we're going to see this year in the SWAC. I'm here to warn everybody. Alabama State will be a problem if this is the Alabama State.
No disagreement here.
So and I put it in our group chat during the game Thursday night. Alabama State is going to be a problem.
Yes.
Alcorn, you got problems. You lost to a team that ain't won a Division I game in 2 years. North Carolina,
if you look good losing it, what's good?
North Carolina
game, you like,
yeah. A&T, you haven't beat a Division I opponent in 2 years. So,
he leaves some meat on the bone.
Let me go ahead and shoot this one
I
up.
was trying to leave a little bit of
Fam,
meat on the bone for my boy Charles. AD gonna be greedy and take it all.
well, I just got one more. I just got one more statement. Fam, goddamn you.
Oh,
Perfect way to end it. Charles,
oh.
your highs, big wins, big losses.
I think Howard, big win. That's a huge win when you talk about a team that was predicted to finish 5th in the MEAC. They come out and they get a strong win over a SWAC team, not just a SWAC team, but a SWAC East team, which has been, I think, the balance of power has tipped in that direction over the past few years. So huge win, I think, for the Howard Bison down there in Miami in front of the FAMU crowd. So big win for Howard yesterday. I think, AD, you said it, all losses are not the same. Alabama State, huge statement made with Andrew Body. But, I'm sitting there watching that game, and I can't imagine what it's like for an Alabama State fan because I'm on the edge of my seat when Andrew Body's running. So it's like I'm just, stay up, stay healthy, slide, something, so it's,
I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us here that are connected with Texas Southern, we've seen in Andrew Body grow, mature, always been a fantastic young man in terms of his family disposition. It's hard not to pull for him. So you're right. It's a different way when you get healed from us. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, so I think just his health is going to be a big thing for Alabama State this upcoming season. But you see they have some pieces on offense this year. They put up 42 points, 40-some-odd points in their game versus UAB.
And if they don't throw that third quarter interception, that's a totally different game.
It's a totally different game. It's a totally different game. So kudos to Eddie Robinson for getting that team up to play FBS competition. All losses are not the same. That Alcorn loss really, really was damning. It was disappointing. You talk about a team in Northwestern State that has not won in quite some time. And it wasn't just the loss itself. It's the way they went about the process. Drop balls, penalties. The penalties were something that really stuck out for me, post-play penalties. So I don't, you know how I am, Doc. I don't want you on the ledge in August. I don't want you on the ledge in August. But, I like to raise red flags, at least in August. But I got to keep some folks out of the room because they trying to get to the window. And I don't want them to
stay away from the light.
He's not letting them in the room.
From the light.
I don't want you.
What kind of on the ledge segment is that? He won't even let them on the ledge.
Walk yourself away from the light.
DJ Jones, as they'll be doing the HBCU nightly with Sims Senior, as well as the rest of the crew. I'm sure they'll have great dialogue today. With that being said, we shout out to our very own, which is their inaugural show in terms of the 2025 season, which is Brian and AD. Look forward to them getting down in terms of as I prepare and get ready. Usually for the work week, I get those folks. Today I get bonus HBCU football and I get my shows, and I don't have to worry about getting up first thing in the morning to get going. I got an extra day to kind of move around and celebrate a little more about what took place yesterday. And shout out to the 1876 crew in terms of what's going on in that way. With that being said, Charles, I need to know, what do you mean nobody can even get in the room on the ledge? Is that what you're saying?
I know folks are trying to move me out the way because I'm trying to hey, back up. But I got some fan bases sprinting to the room week 1, and I just for me, just give it another week. Just give it. See, Southern wanted to sprint week 0, but see now
they still ain't too far from the ledge. You asked me.
I know. I'm really trying to push them back too. But there was some red flags raised this past week in terms of the play. I hate to say it. It was a sort of a shapeshifter in terms of how the program looks to me right now. But yeah, it is a bit of a shapeshifter.
So since Charles won't play for, I'm gonna go to you, AD. Anybody on the ledge?
I don't know if they on the ledge, but they're in line to look out the window. And here are your top candidates: Alcorn State University.
Yeah.
Yep.
AD Drew bowed his head.
North-
He said prayers for him too.
North Carolina A&T. You were competitive. Go ahead. Just go back and sit down in the lounge chair for right now.
Yeah, they look much better yesterday.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
You look competitive, but the fact that it's still 2 seasons without an FCS win, people are going to be in. They're going to be in the room, but they sitting down right now, Charles. They not standing up, looking out the window. Let's see. Valley, no. You can go ahead back into the suite area. You guys are good. Y'all can stay in the hallway, Valley. Florida A&M. Did I say Florida A&M already?
No, you have not. What about FAMU? What about FAMU?
Give me
Tell us
FAMU is knocking on the door. FAMU is knocking on the door. They not there yet. FAMU is knocking on
They trying to get by you, Charles.
the door.
Let me in.
No, not yet. No.
Good stuff.
Is UAPB in the hallway?
Hey.
Good question.
So I mean I could keep going down and going down the list. Once again, I'm glad this is not a Division II show, so I don't have to get into the Division IIs. But there are also Division IIs that may be in the room at least. I don't know if they at the window, but they are in the room.
So we're gonna have to do a Division II room on Tuesday. Mike, where you are with on the ledge? Who you put on the might be pushing folks on the ledge.
Okay.
Come on over here and look at this view.
Alcorn State need to be ready to do a swan dive off the list. Okay. Just put on the Speedos. Go on, get ready to go off the. You mean to tell me you can't score until the third quarter against a team that had North? We're talking Northwestern. Really? That silly blue colors they have on their uniform, really? If you can't score a point to the third quarter, I'm sorry. Yes, you need to get ready to do a swan dive, do a Greg Louganis off the cliff with the Speedos on. And then, I'm sorry, AD. I'm sorry. You got to do it. You need to open the door and let them rattlers with that ridiculous whatever thing y'all do with your wrist. Y'all need to do that all the way out the door, like the Thriller sign. Just walk out the door. Just keep walking out the door.
I told you we in the room, Mike.
Before we take our next
thing you do,
before we take our next break and come back and release the poll, go ahead, Drew. You say that. I want to say this in terms of Charles. Charles sound like Coach Jackson over there. He don't want to play. What happened to you in your fourth grade teacher? Lady Drew, go ahead. Eval on Norfolk State and Delaware State, everybody, quickly. Yes, a good one. From Thursday night. I felt decent about Coach Jack in terms of what they did early in that matchup and really throughout that game. A little more concerned in terms of Norfolk State. Yeah, a little more concern for me for Norfolk State. I thought Delaware State kind of held themselves up pretty decently, but Norfolk State still needs some pieces. Yeah. Shout out to the fans though for Norfolk State. They came out right under 20,000. Shout out to the Prairie View and Texas Southern fans that showed up and showed out. They did. Particularly when you talk about the weather, they stadium almost at capacity, looked really good in there. I guess shout out to Coach Disman and Coach Jackson. They did what they needed to do to sell the interest, and it worked out because it was showed out. Shout out to the ADs that organized events, that putting that board back in the classic on Thursday and Friday, particularly with the golf event and the sneakers balls that did well in terms of their inaugural. So that touchdown luncheon, that was a big seller. I don't know if that happens every year because I don't go every year. But that touchdown event, that the dialogue between Coach Dishman and Coach Jackson, that got pretty that sold it up. And now really quickly, shout out KJ Cooper. Tremendous maturity in the face of a tough loss yesterday. We were both in the post-game press conference, and the Texas Southern locker room is in great hands. Still very upbeat after that loss. I will say this about both of the Texas schools. Everybody else needs to watch and take key because both teams seem to be really solid in terms of what they're going to bring in terms of defense, and they are very solid in terms of what they have in the backfield, running back the ball, and in terms of quarterback. Those two teams found a quarterback. I know we came in this season and asked about quarterback, but I feel comfortable. KJ and Cam Peters.
Yes.
KJ Cooper.
Swag West looks fine.
Yeah, in terms of the quarterbacks, they look like they should be all right. Let's take our second break here. We'll come back, and it's time to unveil the top 7 and see what y'all think about that. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break.
History? Yeah, we built that.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. 2 powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff, representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Ville with the professors, that is Big Mike, Charles, and AD. As we get into it, let's unveil our top 7. As I teased out earlier, we have a couple of new teams in the top 7. So dropping out was Morgan State Bears, who fall to 0-1. Even though they showed well, it wasn't enough based on what some other teams did behind them. FAMU falls out of the top 7 all the way from number 2. A lot of people said that earlier.
I said they was too high.
Concerned about that number 2. Yep, and y'all said they were too high. I'm not sure if y'all thought they shouldn't even be in the top 7, but based on what took place, they are no longer there for sure. So, who jumped into the top of the rankings in terms of this weekend? If you would, getting are those that are receiving votes that are outside. Morgan State Bears, that's how they play.
I guess they don't deserve vote.
Exactly.
Why they need to vote, AD? Why?
They outside of the top 10, so they didn't get the vote. Grambling State Tigers with their win wasn't enough to get them the top 7, but they did get some votes and interest, saying maybe the West will be interested. Even with the loss, much like Morgan State Bears, Texas Southern Tigers are in their top 10 and 0-1 because of such a, for them, tough loss after making the plays to take the lead with about just over a minute left in the game. Couldn't get a key stop. Big pass play that really seemed to open things up If you're looking from the quarterback's position down the right side where the guy kind of slipped by him and able to travel 25, 30 some yards, really got it done, and then just making plays to get into the end zone. Would not be denied, it seems like, after they got in the end zone the first time. A flag was thrown on it in terms of what looked to be a good play. But one of those times where the referee calls that in terms of the Chuck play there, and they came back and still got it done, as you saw with the last second touchdown. With that being said, at number 7, Southern Jaguars took a loss in week 0 for the major division to Central. But they bounced back this week. For all those that may not realize, Valley got the loss, but that's not a conference loss. And Texas Southern will play Alabama State next week. Will also not be a conference game, as well as Alabama A&M and Alcorn. So games to keep your eyes on, but will not reflect in the conference standing for those that are not quite aware of that. But with that being said, the Jaguars stay in the top 7, but they do fall 3 spots. At number 6, this is a new entrant in terms of the top 7 in week number 1. Howard Bison, the 10-9 road victory, I would say, even though it was a neutral site, being deep in Florida, where the Rattlers always show up and show out. At least everybody except for the team this week were down there getting it done, fighting the rain as well. Howard goes in at number 6, 1-0 on the season. At number 5, we got another team that jumps in the top 7. That's the Tennessee State Tigers. Shout out to Brandon King, Sneaker Shop Talk. He did an article. You can go check it out in terms of that game, give you a little more insight if you didn't get to catch it and want more than just the score. They are 1-0. Get a big victory at home. When anytime a coach gets a win, you got to celebrate that. 180 points as they jump in there. At number 4, Prairie View jumps all the way up from the 7th spot as they get a big win against their rival in the Labor Day Classic. They are now 1-0, and the only team you see on here that also gets that win in the conference standing as they're 1-0 this season. As I said, moving up 3 spots, 189 points. Getting into number 3, North Carolina Central, 1-1, had a big win over Southern. Not knowing if that win looks as impressive as it did at the time, then a tough home loss actually says that they stay stagnant. I think they were going to jump up probably higher, but after the loss over the last 2 weeks, they remain at number 3, still at the top 3 in the race at number 2, 194 points. Bringing us to number 2, South Carolina State Bulldogs get a big non-conference win, and they just do what they do, particularly at home. 3 first-place Boats, 1-0. Chennis Berry continues to roll, 216 points. I think a lot of folks suggest that they should have been here all the time, but they find their way leveling the water after week 1, and they are right there. Number 1, Jackson State Tigers really show up and show out with the home game after winning a national championship, and they get a big victory over Hampton. Played well in the game, but did what they needed to do. Add a first-place vote. They go up to 7, 222 points at number 1. Let's go around up and down the square with Jackson State earning first place. This is the total top 7. Southern Jaguars at number 6, Howard Bison. Number 5, Tennessee State Tigers. At number 4, Prairie A&M Panthers. At number 3, North Carolina Central Eagles. At number 2, South Carolina State Bulldogs. At number 1, Jackson State. So we have 3 MEAC teams, 3 SWAC teams, and 1 independent. See how long this stays true, who can stay where they want to be in the top 7 and who will fall out over the next couple of weeks as we lean towards a championship, particularly between in the MEAC and the SWAC, which will face off in the Cricket Celebration Bowl in December. We'll be there. Catch us. Whether your team is there or not, we're going to be covering it and giving you updates of what takes place there. That being said, Charles, what are your thoughts on week 1? Show number 700, top 7 major division poll rankings for HBCU football.
My only adjustment, I think, would be I'm not ready to give up on FAM just yet. I would have dropped them in at number 7 and Southern not quite in the top 7. Because I take a look at one possession in particular yesterday with regards to the Southern Valley game. Valley had a scoop and score that looked like it was on deck, and the young man stepped out about the 3 or 4 yard line, but was going in for a touchdown. And Southern and Valley's not able to get in. They have to settle for a field goal. And I wondered on that possession how much that changed the dynamic of that football game, because Southern got some juice out of keeping Valley out of the end zone. So I'm not quite ready to get Southern throw them back into the top 7. I shoot all the way up to number 1. The scary thing about Jackson State, there are a lot of new faces that played yesterday and showed up. We're going to be calling out Quincy Ivor's name all through the course of the season. Jackson State got another pass rusher. Josh Nobles was that guy last year, but now Quincy Ivor. I mean, when he was ready to get to the quarterback, he did it. Huge game yesterday, led the Tigers in tackles, also had a couple of sacks, and I think three and a half tackles for loss. So that's a name that I want you to keep an eye out for during the course of the season. And Jackson State even lost Travis Terrell, a playmaker, first play of the game. So, you know, they're going to be a handful to deal with.
Good points. Good points. 80 Drew, top 7. What are your thoughts?
I know your record is what your record is. A win is a win. A loss is a loss. But if there's ever a team that deserves to be on this top 7, despite a loss, it's Alabama State.
Yes.
If there's ever a team who does not deserve to be on this top 7, despite a win, it's Tennessee State.
Ooh.
So you mean a Tennessee State victory over a bottom 7 team, North Carolina A&T, gets you into the top 7? I mean, understand you have to play the game. A win is a win. You can only play the people on your schedule in front of you. But Alabama State deserves to be on this list somewhere. And despite Howard's victory over the then number 2 Florida A&M, because of the showing or the lack of showing Florida A&M had, is that really enough to get you where you are if you're the Howard Bison? And the quarterback struggles at Southern continue, whether it's self-inflicted or whether it's by injury. Southern seems to be quarterback jinx university. So I hope Southern gets their situation figured out with their signal caller, because it is hard to evaluate Southern because you don't know how good or how bad they are because of the issues at the quarterback position. Week 1, self-inflicted. Week 2, injury. So
good stuff. Very true. Very true. Mike, go with you before I follow up with Drew. He puts 2 teams out. Charles puts 1 team out. So I'm gonna go back and ask you who goes in. But give me your top 7.
I know they got to win, but I saw that Southern game as well. That did not look like another 17. I know you always talk about, do they meet the eye test or whatever. That did not look like a number 17. Despite the fact they won, Valley had all kinds of opportunities. Yes, they made, but Southern did not look. They've had all kinds of troubles with efficiency on offense. That quarterback problem seems to plague them, as AD said. So I would take Southern out. And if there's any team I think should be in there, Alabama State. I still would keep Howard in. Yes, they did beat the number 2, so quality wins. I think you can move Tennessee State down for the very reasons that they beat a team that hadn't won hadn't had a big victory since Dionne Warwick had a hit in the 80s. So you can move them down a little bit as well. But if there's any team I would move out, I think Southern, you could move them out. And I completely agree. That Alabama State team, they're going to be some trouble this year.
Charles, you put Southern out. Who do you put in?
Well, I just dropped FAMU from 2 down to 7. To me, although offensively it wasn't pretty, to me, the defense is what stood out for me for FAMU. Now they get the loss on a game-winning field goal, but at least the defense showed up.
Yeah.
It's FAMU to do Alabama State.
Good.
All
good
defense, no offense.
Right. Good point.
Well, all fans folks told me R.J. Johnson was the guy. So hold on.
So let me ask you this though. When
hold on,
was
let me get AD.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here, then we'll get you in there with that because Drew dropped 2 out. He said Howard shouldn't be in there, nor Tennessee State. So who you putting in?
Obviously, I already said Alabama State is one of the 2 teams that that I'm putting in. Do you consider Morgan State?
Okay.
Do you? I mean, they despite the loss, they had a decent.
Had a decent, and they put up some points. Which the question they had defensively, they were solid in the game, particularly when you're playing up. So I can take that. Mike, go ahead before we close this last segment.
Maybe this is a problem for you who know more about the EA. Is it me or when FAMU comes, they lost some of the physicality in their defense? They were in a physical conference in the MEAC. They were competitive at the top 1, 2, 3 every year. They come to here. They did have a win in the Celebration Bowl. It just seems to me overall, the intensity and their physicality has just dropped, and they're playing more to the speed and finesse game of the SWAC. Am I imagining that or what?
FAMU, especially geographically where they're located at, to not take advantage of the speed is asinine.
Yeah.
But I do think that because of the competitiveness of the SWAC, because the SWAC it is in general is a faster league with players that tend to be faster. I think that you had to make the adjustment, and you can, and I hate to say it, you could probably blame Coach Prime for that. Well, those losses that FAMU had to Jackson State those first couple of years made FAM reevaluate how they were recruited and what they needed to do to beat the then top team, that being Coach Prime's Jackson State team. So they dropped about 10, 15 pounds off some of those players, those line players, and picked up about another 1/10 of a second on their speed.
On the 40.
And and now it's shifted, but it only worked for 1 year because Jackson State has still put the formula back out there. No one, you say what you want to, no one has been able to catch up with the Jackson State formula under 2 coaches, except for the blip on the radar with Florida A&M. Last thing on Florida A&M, in this iteration of the OVC, FAMU, how you gonna be under 500 in your own doggone classic? Same thing goes for you, Tuskegee.
Charles?
Well, I'll say this. I think sometimes people mistakenly say Jackson State is sort of the MEAC team in the SWAC, but Jackson State, that DNA of Jackson State football is they have running backs and they have big physical linemen that pop you in the mouth. They're getting back to what we saw probably more so in the 80s, 90s in terms of a very physical football team. That's something you could always hang your hat on with regards to Jackson State. They were going to run the ball and they were going to play the hell out of some defense. So that's, they're getting back to that.
Charles trying to teach some history. He forgot. I did the breakdown. That state was good, but they wasn't there yet. This is new.
Tell us, Professor Charles.
In terms of how they win.
FAMU and Jackson State were on the same level.
We'll be right back after this last break and come back on the other side and start talking about
Charles
next week. And even
I am Professor Charles.
Game today. He did say that real professorial. Let's take this next break.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. 2 powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the...
Greetings, Panthers. My name is Roland Austin, and I'm one of the directors at the 1876 Athletic Foundation. The 1876 Athletic Foundation was formed to promote the success of all 343 student athletes. Our overall goal is to fund scholarships for all of our student athletes. We ask that you help us in achieving this goal by donating to the 1876 Athletic Foundation via the QR code below or 1876.foundation. Your generous donation will help us continue to assist the needs of all of our Panther athletes. Thanks, and go Panthers.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Before we go into next week's game at the major division level, and then obviously we take a deep dive for Division II on Tuesday. But we do have a couple of big D2 games, particularly that feature SIAC, CIAA. I'd be remiss if I didn't let Drew give me his thoughts on those key matchups for today. One is in the Black College Hall of Fame Classic in Ohio, and the other one is the Tuskegee Red Tails that's here, that is near us in Alabama. Drew?
Well, the SIAC came out 2-1 yesterday against the CIAA. So game number 4 will be that Black College Hall of Fame game that you are speaking of, Dr. Cavil. Well, I'm just going to sum it up like this. The CIAA and the SIAC will be tied after that Black College Hall of Fame game. No one knows what Miles has. They know what Miles does not have, and that's most of their roster from their championship team from last year. Virginia Union has been a team. Yeah, they went 2 hours north of 65 to 5. What is 565? But Virginia Union is a team that has always been able to lock and reload up under Dr. Alvin.
They have, yeah.
So if Virginia Union can run the ball like they have always been able to run the ball, Virginia Union is going to win this game going away.
Curtis
now, let's get to the rubber match, which is Winston-Salem State, the Rams, versus the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. And when you think of football in these two conferences, these two teams have been the traditional powers in these two conferences over the years. But since the mid-teens, when both these teams were at the top of Division II football, since about 2016, both these teams have started to fall off and regress back to the mean. That's a technical term, Mike, if you don't know what that means. Regressing back to the mean of other football teams.
Really? You gonna tell me really? Is that what we're doing?
But in this rubber match,
tell me what I mean. I know what I mean.
Tuskegee has not been able to find a quarterback for the last 2-3 years. Up under, and this goes back to Ruffin and under Coach James. They have not been able to find a quarterback since the pandemic. So I honestly don't expect Tuskegee to solve that today, which means that room that Charles is putting those chairs in, when you pull up chairs or musical chairs, somebody's going to have to stand up and start walking out. Tuskegee may be joining the room after this particular game. I hate to say it, it's going to be I think it's going to be an 0 for Drew weekend with all three of my teams potentially catching the L this weekend.
That's tough. That's tough. Yeah. With that being said, Drew is degreed up, HBCU degreed up, Charles is HBCU degreed up. Mike doesn't take a back seat. Everybody's talking to me all the degrees I have. Mike been floating around. He got degreed up, and then he chemical engineer and MBA. TSU, Prairie undergrad chemical engineer. I remember he used to be back in them lab rooms of chemical engineer. We used to kind of stay away from them chemical engineers. They were special, Charles.
Blowing up stuff.
Met one of them last night, but a couple of them last night in the suite, and they just have different conversations.
They do. They really do. They really do.
All right, let me exit stage. They, you be proud. I'm an engineer. I do this. Physics, MBA. You be like, when the chemie step in the room, you be like,
they were talking periodic tables and stuff.
People don't quality know. Mike even studied some law school stuff. I mean, this dude, and quietly, everybody knows Charles is spinning up on this quietly. Mike is back there doing his doctoral degree too. So you got to watch Mike. He's weird with the stuff. Going to you, Mike. Since I done pubbed you up a little bit, what you looking for this weekend from the major division side? Let me set it up for you. In the major division, we have A&T going to UCF. That's now UCF is in the Big 12, so that's a Power 4. I like to separate it from the Super 2 and the Power 2. You have Morgan State stepping out to set that up in terms of that, because let me go with Hampton first. They host Elizabeth City State. That's a CIAA Division 2. And then you have essentially two matchups from the MEAC. We'll get the rest of those, but the first one is Albany. Albany, that's the New York Albany, not the Albany State.
That is not that Albany.
To remind us, this is the Albany, different one there. They're at Delaware State, so we'll see what Coach Jackson get done in that. And then we have Morgan State is hosting Towson. So interesting, as Towson got a win over Norfolk State, so it'll be interesting. Can they bounce in there? Let's go to the MEAC and see the other games they have going on. You had a Howard at Temple, North Carolina Central at Old Dominion. Both of those are FBS program.
Virginia State at Norfolk State.
Virginia State, they got a big win today at Division II level. So that becomes more interesting a little bit in terms of Coach Vic having his second home game. South Carolina State is on the road, SEC South Carolina, which is ranked 13 nationally. So that should be a tough one. But we'll get a chance to see what that looks like in terms of where we're going there. Let's see where we are in terms of the OVC Big South, where Tennessee State is looking to get out. Oh, did I say that? No, nah. But they do play North Dakota State. That's kind of Brandon. I didn't say that.
You got to play North Dakota State.
Put some heat on Brandon, because he had Tennessee State chat rooms all lit up. A lot of them were saying, what we waiting on? But that's a whole different discussion. Then you have in the SWAC, Grambling is at Ohio State. That's the Ohio State that just took Texas and their quarterback off the Heisman list. I guess you can get back on it, but defensively, they made a statement. They're number 3. That's before the rankings come out, so they might even shoot past Penn State, I guess. At least gonna cover 2, so that'd be interesting to see. Jackson State has an interesting in-state matchup with Southern Miss. I'm sure you get some talk about. Everybody always wants to see a FBS upset. Is this one to think about? Usually it's the ones that you don't think about that happen, but this is an interesting one to keep your eyes on. Texas Southern goes west, my friends. They go west to California. That's a member of the ACC, but that's a whole different discussion in terms of conference churning, whether it makes sense on the map or not. It is what it is. FAMU stays in the state of Florida. They do go up and play FBS. That's Florida Atlantic. Yeah, Bethune-Cookman that goes up to the ACC, another ACC SWAC matchup. But this one, at least, is in state. They go down to Miami, that's ranked 10th, according to the polls last week. Mississippi Valley State is at Tarleton State. Interesting matchup here, particularly what's going on. Tarleton State early on the season, 2-0. This is a team that many have heard that they are looking after just starting the program at the FCS level in terms of moving up. They're already looking about going to the FBS. Some people have teased that Conference USA might find a way to pick them up. We will see. Then you have a SWAC, not SWAC matchup. Does that make sense? Yes. Non-conference SWAC game. Auckland State at Alabama A&M. Interesting to see what that looks like. It could really get tough on the reservation if this doesn't work out, particularly if A&M is able to make a statement with their new coach, which they played pretty solid against SEC team yesterday. You have another SWAC non-conference SWAC conference match.
Swackish.
Swackish.
Alabama State at Southern. This is another game that's going to be interesting to see. Keep your eyes on getting some more indicating, as Mike likes to say, data points. You have Arkansas, Pine Bluff at Central Arkansas. This FCS matchup. Want to see what this looks like. And then you have the home debut for Coach Jackson with Prairie View taking off a UT Rio Grande Valley that has sold more tickets in terms of their FCS campaign, as they just were Division I, but they started football. So it'll be interesting to see what this looks like, particularly coming off the big win and wanting to continue to have some momentum. Coach Jackson in the press conference talking about these are the type of matchups he also looks forward to. A chance to really get a litmus test as he wants to see his program built, HBC brick by brick, but also being able to be getting it done at the FCS level. So that's the state of affairs there. So, Mike, as I kind of set it up, and then I'll go to you, Charles, before we close it out. What are your thoughts of the big matchups coming up this week?
Not interested in, well, for me, it ain't Grambling, Ohio State. That's a whole nother show on those kind of matchups. Or South Carolina against, was it South Carolina State? Yeah, I'm sure that's great. Whatever, but we'll see. So for me, I'll stay. It's that Norfolk State matchup. For me, that'll be interesting. Against Virginia State. It'll be one more data point to see, can Mike's Vick's team, pull it around? Was week one an anomaly? And AD, you know what an anomaly is, right? It's a data point that falls outside of the normal distribution by just, okay. So anyway.
But is it statistically significant, Mike?
Yeah. So anyway, for me, it's that Southern game with Alabama State. To me, that's going that has the chance to really put Southern folks on the ledge if they're not on the ledge. That game right there, early in the season,
Mike gonna push him off the ledge.
I'm telling you, that's a significant data point in the season at the year our Lord 2025 week 3. That is essential. There's a couple of others, but to me, that's that. The other one is the A&M game, the Alabama A&M.
I agree.
Yeah, that one will be, those two games will be the ones that stand out the most. There's a couple of others, but I'll respect my teammates and leave some meat on the bone for them because I like them. They don't leave the bone on for you, but whatever. So, but those, to answer your question, those are the two for me, Doc. There's one or two others, but I'm sure Charles and AD will pick those up. So,
go ahead, Charles. AD did the D2. So I'm gonna go with Charles, and then we're gonna call it a show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Virginia State and Norfolk State is the one that sort of jumps out for me. That could be a really interesting ball game because I'm curious to see how Norfolk State responds against a very good Division II football team.
And to your point, Virginia State got a big win on Thursday. In terms of a historically white college university, which is always key matchups at the Division II, because they do it a little differently. They will move to automatic bid, but so much is about regional rankings as well, as Drew has always made sure we understood the uniqueness between the Division II versus Division I FCS. So your point is well taken, particularly what Virginia State did last year. And we know a lot about Dr. Henry Frazier III, and he got a victory a couple of years ago against Norfolk State. So yeah, it can get real fast.
Right. Yeah. And then obviously the other one that's very intriguing to me is Jackson State and USM. And from this standpoint, I go back to last season when Jackson State season opener against Louisiana Monroe. The thing that I came away with that loss to Louisiana Monroe is Jackson State did not back up physically against a team that was in the FBS. Fast forward to this year, UAB and Alabama State. Same something. Alabama State did not back up from a physicality perspective against UAB in terms of they kept answering the bell. So what does that look like this upcoming week with regards to a very good FCS team, an excellent FCS team, Black College National Champion in Jackson State, taking on what I like to look at as that third tier of FBS teams. So I think, the matchup, if Jackson State doesn't hurt themselves with penalties, A lot of penalties, I think, to clean up from yesterday. That could be a very interesting game to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Southern Miss, though, has kind of strengthened what they're doing down there. But that's a unique matchup in this state where you're right. There's going to be no fear in general with that matchup, but even particularly now with TC Taylor. I'm fascinated with that. But you know what's teasing out when you talk about these data points, and I'll put it right here. I know it's early. Week 1 data point. Mike will remind us, don't take this distribution too seriously at this point. But you keep adding them up and you get a clearer picture. You know, with what happened to FAMU, now it kind of shifts early on. Now people are focused on that Alabama State, Jackson State, which is always a knuckle fest.
Always.
Those that have studied SWAC. Now it becomes that may be shipping up for another one. You know, it's just 2 years ago where Alabama State goes into Jackson State and gets a victory for homecoming. It looks like they might have to go back down there again for that matchup. And it's fascinating. Again, it's early, but data points as we start looking at matchup, we get closer and see if it still means that way. I'm curious about that. Drew, last point.
SWAC East only. Does the SWAC East champion, based on what we saw in week 1, go undefeated again in SWAC?
I hesitate on that this year. Great question. More data points. I'm a little more hesitant.
Just based on week 1.
Charles has a sneaky smile on his face. He might think differently. Mike has a smile with me, so we'll see what that looks like. But early, give us a couple more data points and make sure we revisit that question, Drew, because I think it's fascinating. Thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Thank all the lab listeners in terms of getting it done in the lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Charles?
We can't gloss over this. This is episode 700. So I want to say congratulations to you in terms of watching this podcast grow. You're a paragon within this HBCU community. So congratulations with regards to episode number 700.
And I'll throw my 2 cents in, having produced probably at least 450 of those 700 shows. You know, it's always been my pleasure to be on with you guys. And, you know, Mike, thank you for joining up for this anniversary show.
See, I'm trying to be good. He gonna slip one in. He gonna take a little body shot on me. I think it is. Doc, I appreciate it. You know, in life, you know, I am, you know, by definition, by fraternal definition, your big brother. But in life and here in this thing, you are my big brother. You run this show, and I just appreciate the opportunity you've given me to participate on this. You know, you have to cut my mic off sometimes, but that's just me. But I really appreciated your knowledge, how you shared it, your understanding. I enjoy working with CB and AD, despite AD taking these illegal body shots at me. So, so I really consider it an honor to work with you two gentlemen as well. But congratulations, Doc, the Dean. I think you got baby Dean Charles over there because I was walking with him. Everybody stopping him. Hey, Charles. Hey, Charles. I'm like, get over it, man. I want to hear all of your students looking at you. But that just goes to show your influence over so many people and, you know, how you brought so many people in it. So hats off to you, brother.
I
appreciate this quick 2-minute roast.
Hey, everybody, we need y'all to like.
Yes,
this is his show 700. Please like and share this show with a friend, like Doc says on his closeout, with a friend or a colleague. I need some more likes up in this on my screen because I don't like the numbers that I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Drew, and making sure you do that. One thing that we try to do on this, and I put stuff in a position, and I'm not saying anything negative to those that have to do it. We don't ask for the resources to support this show. We find another way to get that done. But to Drew's point, what we can ask and appreciate is you like, share, subscribe to these various networks. And if you appreciate what we're doing, let us know by showing us love from that passion, and tell your folks out there that feel like what we're doing, that you hear about it, make sure that they're subscribing and liking and posting. With that being said, appreciate you, gentlemen. Mike, you are a big Mike, so you the big brother. No matter what, one of the reasons I'm able to share the love is what you poured in me very early on. So never forget that in terms of Charles coming on the scene and quickly earning the respect and showing the respect that you deserve of being about this partnership. And AD Drew, is not an easy way to say this, you're certainly appreciated in terms of what you bring to the table. I want to make sure
Absolutely.
that find a way to show you more love over and over. This is the BCS family, and we have more things. Look for week 5. You'll see some announcement coming out where we're going to see what we can get done with the SWAC, potentially SWAC TV as a nice little tease. We'll see what that looks like, see if we can officially get this underway. But you may see a little more of the BCSN, which means if you see a little more of the BCSN, you're going to see at least a segment of us in terms of inside the HBCU Sports Lab as we partner and try to take this to the next level. Credit to Roy Evans, partner in terms of BCSN, the leadership that gets it done in so many ways that you all would never realize how hard and how much he's poured into that. So make sure you find a way to support him more than anything, because if it wasn't for what he does, the growth that we had wouldn't be there like that as well. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share your podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Again, we want to thank you for listening, if you would, to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. and on Sunday during the football season at 9 a.m. Look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Got to get them helmet stickers. Helmet stickers back in there as well as we start doing tailgate during the week. So Mike can get his updates and Charles has his ledge. We look forward to discuss the latest news in the lab, as we said. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil on Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Again, dream big. Continue to move forward. The champs are here. We look to talk with you soon. Charles.
Of course.
Mike.
AD, where your helmet at? Lecture.
Drew.
And I was gonna go out so cool and everything, but you just threw it all off, Mike. 20 years since Katrina. Praying for all those who just remember all those from Katrina. Dismiss, y'all.
Shout out to Doc.